Sure. So thank you for the invitation. My name is Pawel Bochniarz, and I am a general partner at Radix Ventures. Formally, we were founded in 2023, but our first close, which is like the moment from which the fund becomes operational, just happened this summer, so in July. And just like the environment is difficult for startups to raise funds, it's equally, if not even more challenging for VCs. So we actually have been working on Radix for over 3 years until we finally launched the fund. So we are a 41 million fund at this point. We are focused on investing in deep tech startups across Central and Eastern Europe. We actually are not stopping at 41. We will be doing the second close of the fund, which means we accept new investors on board in 2 weeks. So we will be a 48 million fund, and hopefully we will get to somewhere close to 60 million, which was our target capitalization. We are actually going to make our first 2 investments in the coming weeks, literally. So in one case, we have already signed the term sheet with a startup, and the legal due diligence is underway. And it's a Latvian company. And in another case, we are still processing the term sheet, but things are looking good. So we hope to be, by the end of this year, to be invested in at least 2 companies. Yeah, I think I'll move here. I should rent an apartment. It's my second week in Bucharest. I went back to Warsaw for the weekend to spend some time with my family. But I was here last week for the How to Web conference, and this week I'm here at the MoonShotX workshops. So I think Romania is very important to us. We look at ourselves as a CE-focused fund, so we'd rather not invest outside our region. And Romania, after Poland, is the second most sizable market. And I've been here before, so I understand that there are many talented entrepreneurs coming out of this country. So I'm already exploring the opportunities and meeting with deep tech startups from Romania. So I was asked to do a fireside chat tomorrow in the third day of this week's workshop. So I see the fireplace is here, so you're all set. And the topic of the fireside chat is, let's say, sustainability and VC investments. This is the broad, framework for the conversation. Radix is a deep tech fund. That's how we position ourselves. But let's say the green aspects, the environmental friendliness is also an important dimension for us, also for our investors, especially the institutional investors. We have on board the European Investment Fund and also the Polish governmental fund of funds called PFR Ventures, and they both have sustainability goals and certain expectations towards us as a fund. So listen, I think it's a great program. Really, I think at least I can think of at least 2 reasons why such programs are really necessary. So the first one is that in Europe, I think startups are, they have a different sort of runway to become great, right? To become really meaningful international companies. I mean, I think it's much easier for US-based startups. They are already working in the single biggest markets, in the world. and they operate in their own language. They understand the legal environment. They're investors as well. So it's plain and simple. It's a matter of scale and it's a matter of speed. There's plenty of funds available. So I would say it is much easier than in Europe. And if you look at Europe, especially the CE, we have a very fragmented market. So an entrepreneur may launch a startup first with some within his own environment, with local investors on board, looking primarily at the domestic market. I'm not saying it's a rule. Of course, there are notable exceptions to this, but this is often the case, especially for B2B startups that I'm working with. They often approach local clients first. And then, if things go well, you reach a certain size, and there's quite a lot of support mechanisms, organizations, let's say, lending you a hand right at the beginning, right? There are mentors, local business angels, grant programs, so on and so forth. And so I think it's relatively easy and comfortable on this initial phase. But then, once you start thinking, maybe I should go elsewhere, maybe I should expand. There's no reason why, I should limit myself to, Romania, Poland, or even, Estonia. Then you realize, okay, that entering, France or Germany or UK, it takes a different set of skills. It takes much more capital than you're used to. It probably means that you need to understand the legal environment, which could differ from your home country, so on and so forth. The culture is different. You sell differently, you market differently. Everything is different, and you have to rethink every single element of your business plan. And I think here we don't have that many programs across CE for this scale up and expansion phase. They are gradually starting. You can see more and more of them, but I would say there is not enough. So MoonShotX is for me a program like that for companies who are already reached that, have gone successfully through that difficult, challenging, initial phase. They survived, which is, excellent. And then they want to go further, and you need a different set of tools to support them. So if I may continue with the second reason why I think MoonShotX is important, it stems directly from its name. So it's targeting, really ambitious founders, really ambitious entrepreneurs, those who wish to work on moonshot projects, right? Those that are really transformative, disruptive. And I think that's also something that we need to inspire in CE. I think we need more ambitious, more willingness to take up these big challenges and, think big. It doesn't come somehow naturally to us. Maybe, we still feel a little bit the legacy of, being on the wrong side of the Iron Curtain. So we don't feel as sort of entitled to become, these global players. But look, there is UiPath. There is many companies across the region who have made it. So let's hope, this program will help find us some new unicorns from CE. Yeah, an excellent and a very difficult question. So whenever it comes to programs which are in essence educational programs, calculating return on investment is not easy, but ultimately it comes down to a series of of things that have to happen. So a series of transformations. So the first thing is the first question to ask, and it can be asked immediately afterwards. You don't have to wait a year for that. Is have the participants learned something new, right? From the mentors, from those who are running the workshop, but also from other participants. It's another, I would say, valued element of any educational program, how much you can learn from your peers. And it certainly is true for this program, where you have, really well pre-selected group of ambitious founders. The second thing is the second question to ask, and this is probably not this is a question you can ask maybe not a year from now, but in a couple of months. Was I able to take that knowledge and change how my organization works, how I work? Has this knowledge been put to use, right? And it's typically not enough, for one employee, even if it's a CEO, to be inspired and to get new knowledge. I mean, this has to penetrate the entire organization, and perhaps it's not just a matter of knowledge, but also a matter of changing certain norms, creating these new ambitions that were inspired by what they've learned here. And then if the organization starts acting differently, if the individual employees start behaving differently, if they apply this new knowledge to conquer new markets, to scale up, to grow, to become more effective, then after a while you can look at the company performance, right? And then you can see what are the what is the measurable impact of this program. But I have to say, it's extremely difficult because, in a lifetime of a company, a year is a lot, and a lot of things will have happened by the end of 2025. And, not just this program, but also other things will be happening. And to sort of isolate the effect of, a particular program from all those other factors is very difficult. Yeah. So I agree that the environment for funding is very challenging, both for startups as well as for fund managers. I think we have to realize that it's not just happening here in Romania or not just across CE. It's the same in Europe. It's the same in the US. We have an extremely volatile, economic situation in the world. There's a lot of risks, arising from geopolitics, which influence this situation. And whenever any new risks appear, the riskier asset classes like VC, private equity are affected, and there is a capital flight towards safer assets. So you can't really beat that. You just have to wait it out, right? And sooner or later, hopefully the situation will improve. But even in these challenging times, there are pockets of there are areas of interest which have somehow weathered the storm a little better than on average. I'm talking about AI, of course. We've witnessed the birth of Gen AI tools, and I think it's probably a wave that is just emerging and will continue to influence how business is done for many years. Another area is clean tech and new energy. I think there's a renaissance of this technology area, which is obviously fueled by regulatory changes across the globe, and the growing realization that we have to do something about reducing these harmful emissions. So these are just two examples where I think founders and also funds will find it a little easier. We actually, as Radix, were interested both in AI and green tech. Maybe that's why it was easier for us to close the fund.